r/AskReddit. What's the kindest thing a stranger has ever done for you without asking for anything in return? I was struggling through college, had maybe $30 in my account and really needed gas. I commuted 25 miles to campus every day. I pull in and it's full, but a guy waves me down to pull in behind him. He says, "Hey, I bought more than I needed, so there's about $10 of gas still on there." I almost started crying because that got me almost 4 gallons of gas. It really helped me out in a bad time, and I'm forever grateful. I had something very similar happen years ago. I was on my way to work, about 40 miles away, and stopped at a gas station 10 minutes away from my house for $20 of fuel. I went to pay and discovered that my account was almost empty. A payment that shouldn't have been taken for another 4 days had been taken early. At the time I didn't have any credit cards, so I couldn't have used one of them. So I stepped out of line and called my parents to grab the $20 I had forgotten on my nightstand. But before the call could even connect, this older gentleman came up to me, tapped me on the shoulder, and said it's taken care of, and then just walked off before I could even respond. It took me a minute to register what he was even talking about. Then the gas station attendant explained it. I never got that guy's name. I've never seen him around since. I have no idea who he is or anything. I doubt he knew me either. A stranger bought myself and my ex dinner on Valentine's Day, and the waitress said he was so happy to do it. I guess he was a widower, and doing a kind thing was enough to keep him happy through tough times. Thank you, stranger. I was homeless, was thirsty and hungry. I walked into this fast food place at 2 a.m. and sat my bag down. I was dirty and smelled horrible. I asked him if he had anything I could buy for $1, and he said that anything on the menu I wanted. I told him but all I had was $1. He said if I gave him the $1 he would cover the rest of the price. I gave him the $1 and got a double cheeseburger and some fries and a large drink. When he gave me the order I went to the table, sat down, and when I opened the bag there was a $50 bill inside of it with a note saying that he hopes it will help me and he hopes I'm able to get back on my feet soon, and wished me the best in life. It actually brought tears to my eyes. I was totally down on my luck living out of a hotel. I did have a job, but not enough money to stay there until my check came. A friend of mine bought me lunch and was telling that they couldn't help with much, but this is what they had, which was $300 short. I guess we had talked about it, but I don't remember. The next thing I know, this guy at the next table is leaving, and he tells me not to go until he comes back. His girlfriend/wife stayed behind, even though they had paid the bill. He was back in a few minutes, and he hands me $300. I asked him for his contact info, and said he didn't want it back, and to keep working to stay off the streets. The man literally stopped my mom and I from becoming homeless. I still have a job and I'm in a nice apartment now, but I will always remember that man's generosity. I have tried to help other people as much as I can to pay him back in some way. Thanks for the question. It reminded me of one man's generosity of spirit and kindness, and I think we all need that right now. One day I was stranded in London after visiting my brother. I hate traveling, and I'm from a city that's close, but not so busy, so it's a bit of a shock to the system and I get stressed really easily when I'm there. Anyway, I missed my coach back because I missed my train, because I'm a piece of shit and have no sense of direction. Plus I was rushing and panicking. I couldn't get the next coach because I was out of money, and couldn't change the ticket because I'd spent so much on the effing Oyster card getting around for the weekend, and I couldn't get back to my brother's because that required a working Oyster card. At this point I was really pissed off, worried, and I just wanted to get home. I was outside the coach station and it started raining, and feeling proper sorry for myself I just slumped into a doorway and started blubbing like an owl. Some girl came across the road and asked me what was wrong. She bent down to face me and her face was kind, so I told her everything and just kept crying. She takes out her purse, hands me a $5, tells me to change my ticket and that it's going to be okay. Then she gave me a massive hug and ran back across the road to the cafe she was sat outside. I went back in, changed my ticket and got home. I never even got her name, but I think about her every now And then when I'm really stressed or sad and remember how a complete stranger reached out to me when I couldn't help myself. Love you, Queen. About 4 years ago, my family and I were on a road trip to Florida. At the Mississippi/Alabama state line, we got out to take pictures at the sign, like families and tourists tend to do. Spent about 5 minutes there, exchanged some pleasantries with a father-son duo doing the same thing, then went on our way. 15 minutes later on the highway, we are just casually chatting in the car when we hear a honk coming from behind us. I look over, and it's a massive white truck. It's the father and son. And the son is waving my phone. Apparently, I had dropped it at the sign. We both quickly pull over, and I get my phone back. What amazes me is that they caught up to us at all. We were going 70 to 80 and had a good head start on them. That means they were on a mission to get my phone back to me and gunning it. The best part about it all? It was Christmas Day, so I'll always consider their kind actions as one of my favorite Christmas presents. Some old couple gave my son 50k tickets at the arcade. The husband was dying. This was their last trip and had been collecting tickets for over 10 years. I did that for a kid a few years back. Neither one of us was dying, but a machine glitched and gave us double. Like, the stack of tickets I'd won, I needed 2 hands to hold on one piece, and I got twice that, requiring my husband to help carry them. The arcade wouldn't hear it, didn't want half of them back. As far as they were concerned, I'd won the huge jackpot twice, so I took the second stack and made my hubby help me find a kid. Had to be like 8 years old, him and his dad out for a movie night, and his face, my god. I still see that face, and how stoked he was. Still makes me smile. I'm a little late to the party, but I hope this gets noticed. When I was 16 to 17, I was going with my family to New York, and it was supposed to be really hot there. I hadn't been on airplanes very often, and didn't know I should dress warm, especially on such long flights, flying from Portland or. I wore a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and forgot to grab my sweatshirt out of my checked bag. It was a night flight, and I was freezing trying to sleep. Attendants never came by, and I didn't know I could ask for a blanket. I was away from my family next to this older foreign tourist couple, and tried to do my best to sleep while I was freezing. I woke up after a few hours, and realized I wasn't as cold as I was before. I sat up, and saw I had this hand-knitted shawl wrapped around my shoulders. The lady next to me must have seen the quizzical look on my face, as she then says, in broken English, "You shake in sleep." I have this, pointing to the shawl. I thanked her profusely, and she says, "Go to sleep. He's sleeping," pointing to her husband who had started to rouse. I fell back asleep for the rest of the flight, and thanked her a million times more as we were getting off the plane. What a lovely woman. Last year, we had to take our dog of 17 years to the vet to be put to sleep. It is a small office, so I'm sure our bawling was easily heard from our room as we sat with her in final moments. As we were leaving, we had a nice conversation with a lady that happened to be picking up her dog. She offered her condolences, and the vet said I could just come back tomorrow to pay our bill. I called the next day to find out how much I owed, and found out that nice lady had paid our bill for us. That is easily the nicest thing a stranger has done for me. It was 1993, and I was a broke 18-year college girl with crappy tires on my car, driving on the interstate, and had a blowout. No cell phone, no cash on hand, and several miles away from help. So there I'm standing next to my car with no idea what to do, and this big junky car pulls over. Guy whose physical appearance matches his car perfectly gets out and asks if I need some help. I told him no, I'm fine. Even though I definitely was not. He told me to pop my trunk. I wanted him to go away because I was nervous, but popped the trunk anyway. The things I can't help but remember, and it makes me smile, was that 1. His t-shirt was too short to cover his belly, which hung over the waistband of his shorts, and 2. He unwrapped a Snickers bar and proceeded to eat it one bite. Pulls my spare tire and jack out of the trunk. Changes my tire in a matter of seconds. Tells me I'm good to go, and drives away. No bravado, no introduction, no goodbye. I was stunned. This goes out to all the big, sloppy looking, clunker driving, Snickers bar eating guardian angels out there. You are the real heroes. I was 18 and living away from home for the first time, from the UK, moved to Canada. I couldn't afford much, so I'd walk 2 miles through the snow to buy bedding in a discount shop and was having a miserable day. The woman in front of me in the cashier queue put $50 on a store voucher card, handed it to me, and walked away before I had a chance to react. In the middle of a tough day, it really made a difference. Definitely the most memorable random act of kindness I've ever experienced. You've made it to the end. Please like and subscribe to see more videos.